Since we've been at Redemption, our marriage has gone through some impact, and it has weathered a storm of chafing that has been a difficult situation that needed to be overcome. And we were resilient, I think. It gave us opportunity to see that we had something that was special.
I think a very important part of the redemption story has to do with my marriage. Well, let's look at some pictures and see how this relationship has developed over the years. We met at the Palomino Club in North Hollywood, and I begged him to take me on the road so that I could learn to perform and sing. So we were the Secrets. And we played music in bars. And long story short, we got pregnant. This is us at Port Aransas, Texas, where we lived under the bridge in a bus with our dog. Came back to San Francisco and got married. Didn't really know one another, but I was 6 months pregnant at the time, and Jerry did the honorable thing. We had a gig on the night of our wedding. And the next many years were all about getting to know one another. I was raised with the women's rights movement, and with that movement that really was a handicap to women in having relationships that were successful, because there was no sense of the sacrificial in that philosophy and that teaching. And in order to make love work with another human being, there has to be a willingness to care for that person and lay yourself aside and to consider the other as more important than yourself sometimes. As a Christian, there was quite an adjustment period as I sought to understand what God wanted for the marriage. And there was a teaching that was so foreign, so really challenging for me to be submissive, to allow him to be the head of the family, and to honor him as such, and knowing full well that I am being honored. It's not a demeaning of the self to be sacrificial. It is actually the highest form of love. Jesus says greater love has no one than to lay aside his life. That's the highest form of love. And so if I am to love as Jesus loves, that's a sacrificial love. So this has not been easy for me to learn. I'm a headstrong Berkeley hippie. I can walk into a space and be completely oblivious of what's 10 feet ahead of me. I have a great deal of attention to detail. I'm really handicapped when it comes to vision. Jerry has the opposite, strengths and weakness. He's able to see the big picture. He's able to see into the future and visualize things. And he was able to see what this land would become. And it really is becoming someplace very pleasant to be. There have been many things that I really wondered at his judgment. I would have done it really differently from the way he does it. I would never have done this. But he wanted to do it. And we even came to the point where he said, well, there's no way that I'm going to put you through this. But the very next day decided, we have to do it. So I had a choice, I could fight him, or I could trust him. And trust that maybe the Lord was working through him in his way, in his manner, that I'm not able to see.
We had something that was special and could withstand a lot of abuse and come out smelling like a rose.